Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Morning.
Morning.
How
Good
are
morning.
you?
Hey, Brandon. Oh my God, what a week. That's all I can say is what a week. So, who on the call was in Cabo?
Me.
And we got Janet. I got to meet Janet, Misty, Lisa Kane was there. I know a bunch of people are going to be jumping on. But yeah, it was wild. So let me first ask, is anybody on the call for the first time?
I am.
Hi.
Hey,
Tell us about yourself. Brandon, where are you and how did you hear about Wake Up Wednesday?
I'm in Sanford, NC, and Lisa sent me Wake Up Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did it.
Yeah, I woke up and got on.
Well, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Hi, Lisa.
Hi there. Hi, Brandon. So
Hey,
excited.
Lisa, how you doing?
Oh, good. Hi, everyone. Hi, Peggy.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey, hey, Colleen. I see
So
people I recognize. Yeah,
do you
What
recognize people?
I do. Yes.
a good crew here.
How
Hello,
long
everyone.
how long have you been with EXP?
Started with the XP in January. I've been a realtor since 2017 there, so off and on.
So tell us why you joined.
Um, I was real tired of being stagnant where I was at before and handing money out every month for basically nothing.
Okay, so when you say stagnant, what do you mean?
Like nothing, like no lead,
Nothing.
nothing, no. I mean, it was really frustrating, and I shouldn't have stayed that long. I've got to the point in life where I don't want to leave, and I don't want to quit anymore. And at some point, you got to weigh your options. Like, okay, this is dumb. You're not doing the right thing. So, but coming here has been a huge change. Like I've got more leads, and I'm actually out talking to people, and things are much. There's light at the end of the tunnel to get out of this get out of this. I don't know what to call it. Get out of this mess I've been in.
Well, you know what? Sometimes we get in a funk.
Oh yeah, big
And,
time.
that was one of the themes of the Cabo was the fact that people are coming from other companies because it's stagnant. You used a really good word. And
Hmm.
the theme of Cabo was catch the next wave. The
Right.
next wave is coming. And for all these people who are stagnant or feeling left behind by their company or whatever the reason is, it is coming in drones. So, welcome. We're glad we meet every single Wednesday. And
Okay.
I'm going to kind of let this week just be driven by the people that were in Cabo. We've got some great leaders on this call. Um, I'm going to take a deep breath. If I don't have my energy, you guys, I came down with a respiratory infection while I was there.
Mm.
And I literally got home at midnight last night. I want to give a shout out to Susan Frederick and Jean. Susan stayed with me. Lisa, Misty, they were my nurses. You guys can't imagine. You have no idea what it's like getting sick in a foreign country. And without Lisa in her translation, honest to God, I have no idea what I've done. So Sarah Gibson was there with me during the week when I thought I was sick, but I wasn't sure if I was sick. And then, bam, like a bolt of lightning. One minute you're on the beach, and the next minute you're up in your hotel room and you've got a fever and you don't know what's going on. Um, but this is what this company is about. This is what culture is about. People came together, people were texting me, and it's really amazing. And I just really want to give a shout out to Lisa and Misty and Sarah, and Nicole's not on the call, but Leslie and all of you guys who just were like, oh my God, how do we lift her up? So, Lisa, do you mind if I make you co-host?
Not a not a
No.
problem.
Okay, and I'm going to do that.
I'm not a big Zoom person, so that's a disclaimer. So let me know what
Oh,
I need
well,
to do.
wait a minute. All I need you to do is stay on.
Yeah.
This way, if it goes down, if we have a problem, we're good.
Oh,
So
okay. I can do that.
wonderful. So who wants to jump in? Because this was one big fire. When I was in the airport yesterday, I was listening to Jay Kinder with Honey Badger Group, and I think he was talking to Albie, and he was talking about the idea of 6, 7 years ago, when maybe even 8 years ago now, when they came, they felt individual at the other companies they were at. They all like had this fire in their bellies and they didn't know what to do with it. So there were like lots and lots of fires all over the place and people wanting to do everything, but they didn't have collaboration. So that's how the Cabo event really started. Was they said, let's just bring our energy, let's just bring all of our little individual fires and put them together. So from there, I think we experienced it. And where, let's see. Oh, Karen's even on. Hi, Karen. How are you? Um, Go ahead, jump in, guys, because it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Whose event was anybody on the call? A first EXP event. So you'd all had been to an event
It was
before.
my first Cabo.
Oh, fantastic. So I want to jump in with a first time Cabo person.
Well, for my roommate and I, it was both of our first times. She wasn't able to be on the call today, but it was mind blowing. And she had not been to as many EXP events as I had, and she kind of joked that she was drinking the EXP Kool-Aid, but that one was perfect. I love the way it was. The women, I got to say, the women's event. I mean, the one at Miami was great, but that women's event was so powerful, and just it's hard to express in words, and I've been trying to express it in words to some of my colleagues since I got back. But that was just amazing. The breakouts, I just love the way it was set up. The chance to get to be able to have some downtime, networking with other people, learning and stuff. I finally got to meet you in person, Peggy,
Yep.
get a hug from you and several other people. It was just really nice. I'm excited about, next year's event. I mean, and everything. I'm encouraging other people to go to it, but it's just the learning, the networking, the connections, just like you said, just everybody being there to help everybody. Like if you weren't feeling well, I mean, I got a little teeny sick while I was down there and everything in the middle of it. And just people trying to help with those things. It was, just really nice. And, of course, the area, it was just mind blowing in a lot of ways. That's the only way that I can talk about it. But it just reinforced to both of us just how we made the right decision coming over to EXP a couple of years ago, because just more and more about the connections, the family, just, because you feel like you're part of a family, and just
Don't you?
so many people care. It's just, I mean, I know that like I have an attachment to my group with because I'm part of the Fire Partners group with Dave and Kristen Kennard. But, it's like, but everybody else, it's just, everybody is just so, just giving and everything. Like I've been on several things with Eva's with Eva and her daughter and son and everything. I was on Mondays and everything, and it's just, I don't know. I just love the company. And Brandon, I think you made a really good choice coming to EXP. I think you're going to find as you go to more events, it is just incredible here. So I don't want to take a lot of time, but it's just,
No,
it
Laura,
is,
that's
it's
great.
just, it's just all the first time events are just, I went to this, I went to EXP Con in Miami. I'm already signed up for Salt Lake City. I mean, I'm, trying to encourage all of my group and my team, just, get there, get connected and everything and see the big picture.
Peggy,
Well, yeah. Oh, hi, Karen.
good morning. So, this was my first Cabo, and as you know, I'm still red. I haven't changed yet, but it blew my mind. I went back to my office yesterday, and my team leader in New Jersey said, "How was it?" I said, "It was the most fantastic event." I said, "It was a mix of, real estate, finance, health, networking, getting to know a lot of people really, really well. It was like I'm still like reviewing my notes and saying, "Wow!" And thank you, Eva, because I was Eva and Colby and Dylan's and Rob's guest, and I was like still like rolling in like the excitement from the whole thing, because it was just so interesting. I'm following up on a couple of the things that I got from what's his face Gary and stuff like that. Like it was for my own health stuff, and all the other stuff I'm working on. But if you haven't been to one of these events, you got to go. I mean, if just not only for the education and for the networking, but just the whole, there's a term in Hebrew that says hargasha, which means feeling. It's just this, I don't know, feel a sense of belonging, even though I
Hmm.
really wasn't belonging, but I was
You
belonging.
belong. You belong. Well,
Thank you.
appreciate that. So I want to, well, thanks, Karen. I appreciate you jumping in. Laura, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Um, Tell us some of the takeaways, because I'm going to let you guys all start giving your aha moments, because it's great. I want people to know what you guys learned.
So some of the takeaways, was about when, especially in the women's one of the themes that seemed to resonate was no matter what I mean, what I took away from was that no matter what kind of roadblocks, what kind of things get in your way, keep going, keep on the path. This is what you're supposed to be doing, and keep that faith. And that was huge. That was huge for me, and also for my friend. I can speak for her because we had a lot of late talks in our room together, and everything. The other thing was I did like the way that there was the incorporation of, the different topics. But then I don't have my notes in front of me. I just finally unpacked my suitcase yesterday. It took me a couple of days to unpack. I didn't want to deal with it. I wanted to pretend I was still somewhere sunny and tropical. Um, but that was one of the huge things, was about keeping the grit, keeping the focus, um, just going through there. Also listening to some of the things on the AI and stuff like that. That was another key thing, was how to work with that. Um, uh, I'm losing my train of thought on that, but
That's okay.
I mean, like I said, Peg, there was just so much that, like, actually, my colleague and I, Heather, we're actually meeting on Friday morning. We have booked a room at our library for 3 hours, and we're going to be going through stuff and like planning out some things that we talked about more when we were sitting poolside. Um, just
Love.
to, to get it all into focus, because we had so many ideas going that our head was like spinning. Um, and we want to get it down on paper, because we had already been planning stuff, but now it's like we have this new energy and focus. And we told her husband, who's one of her partners, and their husband and wife team, she said, watch out, honey. She goes, just back off, me and Laura got this. And so
I love that.
he's just going to have to deal with us right now. So he's like, okay, whatever, ladies. We even told him we were staying until Thursday, and he's like, okay, have fun. He didn't even like question us.
Flinch.
He said,
So, Laura, will you do us a favor next week? Will you come back on
mhm,
after you guys have put all your notes together and share some of your thoughts?
absolutely.
Oh, perfect. And I listen to what they're doing, guys. They're actually taking action. I've never known anybody who said, okay, we're booking a room at the library and we're going to go over our notes. I can't wait to hear what you've come up with.
Okay.
Eva, you're driving. Can you speak?
I'm actually not driving yet.
Oh,
I'm
good.
sitting in my driveway to be
Okay.
ready to go. So it's good for me to speak now.
Well, good. So, first of all, I want to say I bow down to you because you spoke for one of the first times. This is one of the strongest women I know, and she was nervous. And
Oh my gosh.
and you know what? That's because it's authentic. Absolutely authentic comes through. But thank you for sharing your story with us. Tell us, give us the Cabo experience. Then I'm going to let you guys just jump in. What you learned.
So, so Cabo is absolutely my favorite event. This is the third time that I've attended it.
Uh-huh.
And every time they have it, I will go again. One of the things that Cabo represents for me is really a reflection on the company as a whole. I've been with EXP for just around 3 years now. And what I noticed initially still rings true. And that is the difference between other companies that have experienced and EXP is the wealth mindset. It comes through in almost everything they talk about. And they also talk about wealth, not just in money. They talk about wealth in family, wealth in experiences. I love the way the structure is 4 hours, training, classroom, and then the rest of the day free. I love the way that they encourage you to bring family along with guests, of course. So the fact that I spoke at Cabo was a big thing for me. And I want to say I was at my previous company for, 15 years, and I never had that kind of opportunity. I was at my previous company and never was in the same room unless it was an auditorium with the CEO and owner. So those are the kinds of things that really, really strike me. Lastly, I would say I tried to focus on a takeaway because I do find myself I go to a lot of events, and sometimes you can get overwhelmed from that. So I always I absorb as much as I can, and I try to take away an action item. And in this case, AI is definitely my action item. We have only scraped the surface on it as a team. So it is something we are looking to expand. Lastly, if I could just plug, if you don't mind, I'll send it over if anybody's interested. I actually did work with somebody before my speech because I thought I would be totally lost, and I would have. And she actually happens to be our guest speaker. We're doing a bonus Mastermind Monday today at 2:00 Eastern Standard, and it's a duo. It's a woman who worked in films and advertising and commercials, etc. That I worked with on my speech. Her name is Tanya, and her partner is somebody who optimizes SEO on social media. So together they have a business to help you look better, sound better, and show up better. And that's what our call is about today. So if anybody's interested,
Absolutely.
I'll
You
get
want to
that
put
to you.
that in the chat?
Yeah, I got to find it, but I will. Yes.
And do you need to send me an invite on that, or can you just jump in?
It's the same like a Monday Mastermind. So when you go
Okay.
to sign in, it asks you those few questions, and then you can just pop in.
Great. Perfect. Thank you. We're so proud of you up there.
Thank you. I
We're
appreciate it.
so proud of you. Janet.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. We got to meet in person.
Yes.
Talk about your family. Talk about what your takeaways are. We all have this amazing energy, but I want to get to the meat. I want to get to what you're going to go and implement with.
Well, this was my fifth Pablo. And so
Yeah.
it was my fifth. So you make connections and you look forward to those people that you get to see that you've met previously. But also my takeaway was I really in all my years being an EXP, I've been more focused on production. And my goal is to kind of flip over more to the attraction side. So
Okay.
Jake Hinder spoke, about the co-sponsorship. And I don't think I've ever really dove into that. And that's where my focus is going to start to go a little bit more. Of course, Tom Ferry. How could you not love that? I mean, that was awesome as well. I learned a lot. I listened to a lot of his podcasts. And I felt bad because there were so many people, like even on this call, there's so much going on that it's hard to, just to connect with somebody and say, hey, let's get together. You're just going in so many different directions. There was a lot going on, but I find for anybody that doesn't go to events, it really keeps you plugged into the system. You start to, like, when you don't go, this was my first event this year. Like I skipped EXPCon, And I feel like you kind of start to lose your momentum. You really do. You lose everybody that you're working with and you're talking to, and you become more on an island. So when you go to these events, you really do feel plugged in with everybody.
I totally agree with you. When you say Tom Ferry, I mean, it was great. Tom Ferry is the number one coach in the world, guys. And what were some of the things that you felt that resonated with you, Janet, with that? Do you have any of your notes?
I don't have my notes with me. The AI, I've really, really, really gotten into AI, and I learned about that when I was um, at Cabo when Phil Stringer first came on.
Yeah.
So I felt like I already had a bit of a step up from other people that were just starting to learn it. But the AI thing really, the amount that you can do with it, um, I think that was what resonated more than anything. And um, people that want to they want to do things, and Tom is like, you got to be like Forrest Gump. Like if you get a coach or if you have somebody and they tell you this is how you're going to succeed, you go, okay, okay, I'll do that. Don't question them. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. There's people that are just amazing. You just need to connect with them.
And everyone is there for you. Everyone is reachable. You can reach out and talk to anybody at any time. We're not, my other company, you only saw the leadership from afar. They were the people behind, who were those people behind the curtain, so to speak. To have Leo right there hanging with you, Mike, Tom Ferry, uh, Gary Brecka. Let me just tell you guys, mind blowing. I've never been at a company that brings in the component of health. And yes, we talk about rev share and all of that. This company cares about you enough to bring in the best health coaches in the world. And I'm going to go to Lisa, and I'm going to try not to get teary eyed with this because I want you to share your experience and how long you waited and what opportunity you got. And again, thank you for being my medical interpreter because I, God knows where I would have been without you this past week.
No, that's what friends are for, Peggy. It was so good to be able to be there for you, and it's so good to see you up and about and
Awake.
look like on this side of recovery, right? So
Yep.
yeah, that was scary, guys. But you know what? That's what community is all about, and that's what friends are for. And I wouldn't change it any other way. Yeah, Gary Breck, I'll try to not cry too. He has that ever since last April. So some of you might know, not know. My son had a kind of life-changing diagnosis last April, just shy of his 16th birthday, was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, which was crazy to go through your whole life and be 16 and pass all these markers and never have lung issues and all this, and all of a sudden have cystic fibrosis. And 6 weeks later, I was rushed by ambulance to the hospital because I could not stop spitting up blood. And it was determined through all that I have this kind of rare, pretty much terminal lung disease. And so within 6 weeks, our world just like flipped on its head, and all related, ironically, into these fibrotic lungs and fibrotic tissue and mucus and all that. But anyway, since last April, my goodness, how many times I prayed that I would be able to meet Gary and be able to talk to Gary. I'm a big fan of his and big fan of the way he approaches the health and the body, and that we're just these beautifully and wonderfully made beings by God, and that there's a lot of healing that we can do. And in the meantime, I'm at the Mayo Clinic, and my son and I are at UNC, and all these hospitals are trying to track us down because there's something definitely bizarre going on, and they want to study us. And I'm like, no, I want Gary to study us. I don't want them to study us. And so the day that Gary spoke, y'all, like every morning in Cabo, there's a sunrise service at the beach. And to me, I think those services were like my moment of Cabo and my life. That's my big memory. And it was just these life-changing experiences to share together, and the amount of people coming together and praying for each other and watching the sunrise and singing and worshiping together was just beautiful. But that morning, the gentleman who spoke of the woman who couldn't stop bleeding and who was literally like crawling and getting her way to get to Jesus just to touch him. And I mean, it couldn't have been more powerful to be even that morning and to hear that, and then to go into the auditorium. And Gary was so gracious. When I got up and asked my question, he said that he wanted to talk to me separately rather than just answer, because there is so much going on. And his daughter came in the auditorium and found me and said, "Stay, my dad wants to see you after." And he came over and sat next to me and spoke with me. And he said, "I've got you, but I want your labs. I want your son's labs. I want to understand all this, and I want us to meet outside of this to figure this out." And y'all, I will cry if I go more into that, but my goodness, God is so good. This company is so good. We don't understand the opportunity that we have being here. Sometimes EXP can seem so big, and that's the beauty of EXP, because there's so many tools and there's so many resources, and we can never outgrow this brokerage. But the real beauty of this brokerage is right here. It's the friendships, it's the connections, and it's the way that from the top down, agents come first, and we're just set up that way. And I would just say lean in. This is my first Cabo. I've been here 9.5 years. But this is my first time going to this event. Honestly, the last few years have been my first few years even being plugged in at EXP at that level. And I just feel the last few years have been on a trajectory to being life-changing, but really the last 6 months, I would just say, have been the biggest for me being here, which is crazy to say that this many years later, but I couldn't be more excited. And anybody, I love to chat with anybody about your own stories and experiences, because one thing I can say, I know that I can talk about the brokerage from behind the scenes really well, but I'm leaning into this because this is the community, and this is what's going to bring all of us to success in so many areas of our lives. So
I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Lisa. It's, again, proximity. It's getting in the rooms. It's getting on this wave. It's definitely getting on this wave. And I'm so grateful that you had shared with me that, and like you just now, that you put it out there that you were going to meet Gary Brecka, and you did. So besides it, because you were pumped up over a lot of things, what else did you take away? I mean, you've been a leader. You just served as one of our growth leaders in this country, and I want to thank you and welcoming what is going to bring you on your next journey, Lisa. So from a perspective now, what did you take away besides obviously the best, Gary Brecka? What else were some of the highlights?
yeah,
And
so
see us going as a company.
yeah, I mean, I think that I love how you said it's we were talking about catch that next wave, right? Because really the next few real years in real estate there's going to be so much change, right? We've already seen it, brokerages merging, things happening. Are we going to have an MLS? Are we all these different things, right? But what I can say is, when you look at predictions, and when people say that, someday there might only be a few big brokerages left. The really great thing about that, I love competition. I think it's sad. I hope we have, competition makes us all better. But if it truly does go the way that people predict, on every list of every financial leader, real estate leader, it shows EXP on that list, right? So we are on a winning team. There was a visual, I think, that had stuck with me, and was it Randy Bird that had it? I think, I can't remember. And it was the surfers all waiting for the wave and one surfer riding on the wave. And it said, what do you all see in this picture, right? And so it was just the guys laying on their boards, and then the one guy riding the big wave. And the next slide, when he took the picture again, he had the surfer as EXP, and all these other brokerages, all these other surfers were just the guys sitting out there waiting. And we're right there, as we're in the best position to ride this wave, and I love that. But I think for me, one of the things that I would say is just who you're aligned with, right? Like, and finding community, because one thing is that you can't do everything, and you can get stretched thin. And I think we can, I know myself, I can go in a million different directions. But a lot of things that I took out of this week, and Jean says it so well too, is like, what are you focused on? Like, and what are you focused on for that next 30 days? And if you're distracted and focused on a lot of different things, it's hard to do something really well. So take your, what's ahead of you, look at where your challenges lie, find those cogs in the wheel, right? Identify those, and then in 30-day increments, fix
Mm-hmm.
those cogs, right? So your first cog, the first 30 days, the next cog. And then that's how actually we're going to all be able to, really drive forward with like the straightest path. I think it's,
Mm-hmm.
he always says, that kind of, we try to go through life like this, right? And God's like, I got you, just go like this, right? And I think that eliminating those distractions and our 30-day increments, and I'm gonna I think at this point give a shout out to Misty,
I
who,
was just gonna keep
I
going.
knew you probably go to that, but who like Eva got on the stage and just shared her heart and shared her story and inspired so many. She inspires me all the time, so it was awesome that others got to see that inspiration of just do it, right? Like, of how to power through, and but how to show up authentically doing that. And I think that's just a really invaluable lesson. But it's great to have partners, and it's great to do things together. And I think maybe I can let Misty share a little bit kind of from that.
I Perfect intro, because I was just about to say, if you look at the screen, guys, and the people that come together and share, we have got people on here that were up on stage. I mean, they're asked to speak at these events and they come and share with us on a regular basis. And you never know what's behind, like I call it the Hollywood squares here. Because I just recently met Misty on this call, and Misty and Lisa came, and Misty spoke on stage at the women's event. She had us in tears, like almost every other speaker did. But Misty, I just want to again say, first of all, thank you. Um, Thank you for helping me to get my first shot in my butt, because you insisted that they give me that medicine. But other than that, prior to that, you walked up on stage with all these women, as you said, kind of saying, "What am I doing here? What am I doing here?" There were, I mean, Wendy Forsythe, Veronica Figueroa, all these incredible names. Eva was up there, and they loved you. We loved you, and this is a company that wants to include everybody. So I want you to tell your story, if you would, just a little bit, but I also want you to talk about where you sat looking out the window and who you wanted to be with a year ago. Because this is another thing, guys, I truly believe you put it out to the universe and bam. So, hi, Misty.
Hi, I'm glad to be here. Glad to see you doing better, Peggy. It makes me so
Thank
happy. So my story, I lost my husband in 2021, and due to an unsigned, updated will, I ended up homeless, carless, had 3 kids. Really, really, really tough situation. I ended up sitting in the driveway of my car like many of us do Eva was sitting in her car today. It kind of made me laugh when she said that. But sitting in our car in the driveway, I decided to go to real estate school. I did 52 transactions my first year, just really, really, really crazy stuff. But, one of the things, just like all the other women on the stage, when you get backed into a corner, you can do some really, really, really crazy things. So, being consistent, showing up every day is how you get those things done. But I did want to share, the story about me sitting in the cafeteria last year.
you.
Last year was my first Cabo. And my husband went with me last year, and we were sitting in the cafeteria, and my husband's back was to the outside seating area, but I was looking at him, but I was looking straight past him. And he recognized that my eyes were looking beyond him. So he asked me, he said, Misty, what are you looking at? Well, Gene Frederick was sitting out there at a table talking to, it was Veronica and some other people out there. And I told my husband, I said, gosh, I would love to be a fly on the wall and just hear the conversation at that table. I know that it's fire. Fast forward Cabo this year, I'm the one sitting outside at the table with Gene Frederick, and I told Gene, I said, I have to tell you this. But the thing that the first place that my mind went to is I looked at the glass, and of course I couldn't see past it. But I wonder who was sitting on the other side of that glass this year, looking out there, wondering what the conversation was at the table. And I pray that whoever that person was, if they were there, ends up at that table next year.
I love that. We all deserve a seat at the table.
Yep.
And Gene giving me this vehicle almost 4 years ago now. This is our table, guys. Everyone's welcome. Even like Brandon, you're brand new to the company. Karen hasn't joined yet. We want everybody here because we want to come together and share. So, Misty, again, we're so proud of you. What were some of your big takeaways?
Man, I tell you, Lisa and I, we're so opposite, but we have our mind moves a lot alike. I'm gonna tell you, going out on that beach and seeing, I mean, there were over 20 people that got saved that day. There were grown men out there, tears flowing, and not the men shouldn't cry, but I mean, you don't see that every day. I saw agents laying hands on other agents, praying for them. And I'm going to tell you, that is one of the most powerful things that, I've seen is just people being so open in their faith and just people being there for other people. The AI stuff, yes, that's a big deal. But for me this year, it was the love of the people around you. That was everything for me this year. And I just really want to bring that energy back home, and continue it and love on people around us. The world's so crazy right now. We all need a hug. So that was my biggest takeaway. Tom Ferry was amazing. Of course, like you said, this company, looking at us to get our health in line. Health is wealth. Your network is your net worth. Just all of those things just combined. Just this week was just amazing. And getting in the rooms. If you're not in the rooms, find a room.
I love it. Find a room. Love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Peggy, can I add something to that?
Yes, I want you to. And then I'm going to go to Sarah.
If you can't find a room, create a room, because you can do that. We've done that. Just find one or create one would be my comments on that. And then just one other thing I want to say. I don't know who's in this room right now, and I don't know what their volume is. I don't know what their production is, but I hear Misty say, I did 51 transactions, that first year. I'm like, oh my God, who am I to even stand up here? Because, part of my speech was being a pretend real estate agent.
Right.
And so I think, it's so easy to get intimidated by those huge accomplishments. And, I don't think you want to measure your insides by somebody else's outsides. And I'm so impressed with Misty. It's not by any way saying I'm really super impressed. Misty and I sat by the pool and worked on our speeches together. So like she's saying, the relationships were super cool. The 4 women that spoke, all 4 of us, I think will forever be connected now. So find a room. Create a room if you can't find one, and, don't be intimidated by, I was certainly, but you don't need to be.
Hey, and I want to say to that too, Eva, I am an open book. My playbook is open to anybody who wants to know what I did. Uh, I am completely open to share with anybody. I mean, from the script that I used, I mean, literally every single piece of it.
We
Well,
would love that.
Misty, oh, I'm sorry.
No, we would love to have Misty even as a speaker. So,
You took the words right out of my
oh,
mouth, Peggy.
okay. We think alike, Eva. You know, and it is creating a room and we'll help you. 4 years ago, this was just an idea to bring people together on a Zoom. And we're going to celebrate 4 years in June. And we've had 3 retreats. If I can do this, you guys, you can do it. Eva's done it. It's so important that you do the community. It's like, what was it? Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. People are anxious for this. And again, I love it that we just show up and we're not wearing, top producer or this or that. Even I'm blown away sometimes when you guys unmute yourself and come on and talk about what you're doing. Because it's a room of safety. Everyone feels really, really safe here. And and Sarah, I'm going to get to you in 1 second. Even in a group of over 1,000 people, there are people standing up in those rooms like Lisa, like other people who had health questions, and just unveil their most personal and intimate in details of their lives, guys. Nothing else is like there. And I believe when they're saying that next wave is coming, you're going to see that because other companies, yes, they might have training like us and production and everything, but their only care about is their shareholders, their number of agents that they have in their company, whether they can change the MLS, whatever it is, they don't care about health. They'd rather give you a free freaking car wash if you join their company than come here and give you free health advice. I'm off my soapbox on that. Sarah Gibson. Hi, honey.
Hello, how are you?
Well, I guess I really was sick when I started not feeling good that first night we didn't go out to dinner.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Sarah
So
supported me in many ways. So thank you.
you're
You
welcome.
go to a lot of events and you take a lot of notes and you internalize everything and then you're able to share it. So I want to hear all your amazing nuggets of this trip.
Well, I do have some notes, but I don't have them with me. They're at home. But what I was doing, I was going through my phone and I was clicking on the QR codes that I had photographed and I shared those in the chat. I think that Wendy Forsyth was very good. Um, she talked about just some things you can do, news jacking, trend jacking, things like that you can use in your social media. So I'll put a link in the chat to her stand store where you can download her free content guide. Nick Kram, he had a prompt and I typed it in there. You might can copy it. And he said it was amazing to him how when he put that prompt into, I think it was ChatGPT, what he got back. It was very thought provoking. So that's something that I'm going to get around to doing. And then Nick Krim, he's always so good. I put his website in there so you can go check out his programs. So Matt Smith was somebody I had never heard of, and I think he coaches with John Cheplack.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave us a QR code to his cash machine culture blueprint. And so there's the link to that in the chat. Um, let's see, what else? Oh, Leo Robles. I put I put a link in there to his stuff. He had given a QR code, but you can probably search him on YouTube as well. He he's really systematized and he's got an agent attraction system in there, and I haven't gotten into it, but I was very impressed with him. And then Mike Hellickson, had never heard of him until I got to Cabo. And evidently he's kind of a big deal. He has Club Wealth real estate coaching. And so I put his web address in there. You could probably find YouTube videos of him training. And then, of course, Gary Brecka. You know, if you don't know anything about Gary Brecka, I put his web link in there for theultimatehuman.com. He is probably one of the most interesting people I've ever listened to on stage. His photographic memory, and he can just
Yeah.
recite verbatim all of these studies and all of these health things. And so every time I hear him, I always come back thinking, okay, I'm going to quit drinking Diet Coke. I'm going to quit doing this. I'm going to quit doing that. And it's just a nice way to kind of reset yourself. Um, I wish that I had some type of, winning overall, but you caught me off guard because I left my notes at home. But I
It's
hope
okay.
that some of these links are helpful to other people because when you're there and you're taking these QR codes, you're just snatching them. You don't have time to get into them. So those are some really good places to start.
Those are great, Sarah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I have a slide here, and I'm not sure if it's, forgive me, I don't know if it's from Leo or not. It might have been the person who spoke before, but here's the slide. The 4 rules that changed everything. Remove decisions. Structure wins. Prep the night before. No thinking required. How many of us are just getting up still and winging it? That's not how you're going to be successful. You heard Misty and Eva talk about how they prepped. They prepped for their speech. Are you prepping enough? Number 2, get clear. Get clear on your lane. Go all in. Master it. You know, Gene was saying do one thing for 30 days, become obsessed. Become obsessed with a one thing and do it. Stay in that lane. Do it for 30 days. Then move to the next one. Business is like a cake. You don't start with the frosting. I thought that was a fantastic quote. Business is like a cake. You don't start with a frosting. Third thing, there's so many people out there who have successfully done this. Why are you trying to reinvent the wheel? Find someone crushing it, copy the process. Every single person up there, every person on this call will share their success with you. You absolutely don't have to reinvent it. And then find a running partner. You know, Misty and Lisa have found running partners. I lean into people all the time. If I'm looking for something specific, I'll reach out to Sarah. I'll reach out to Eva. I'll reach out to Lisa. Whoever it is, I'll call Nick Krem. We've got great partners here. You don't have to do everything on. So this is a great, we've all heard this before. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go farther, go together. And together only works when there's discipline behind it. So many of us are running around and we have no discipline. I am guilty of this, guys. I'm telling you, there are sometimes I'm not prepared. I think I can wing it, and I've done this for years. On the DISC, I'm a high D, high I personality, and I just go and I'm driven, but then I get distracted because I'm not staying in my lane. And that is something that I am truly focusing on this year. They talked about building freedom. We have to have production, right? You guys sell real estate. You've got to build your production, and then your freedom will come. Now, your production may be selling real estate, or your production may be just in attraction. Whatever it is, build that foundation, get that going. Time blocking is huge. If I asked you all to pull out your calendars right now, what would they look like? Do you have things time blocked? Are you tracking your numbers? Who knows their numbers? Can anybody honestly write this? Redding, hey, how are you? Unmute yourself, darling.
Wonderful.
Do you know your numbers?
I do.
How long have you been doing this business?
50 years.
No, I think you tried to tell me you were 35, Red.
No, I was 25.
You were 25. Okay. Why are numbers so important? You've been doing this for 50 years, but you still know your numbers. Why?
Well, to me, Peggy, success is very, very important. And I agree 1,000% with you. I am not uh, truly an innovator. I steal other successful people's ideas and I put my marketing twist on them. But I have always set goals every year at the beginning of the year. And if I set a goal to do 50 million and I only do 35 million, you know, hello, it's still a win, a big win. And unlike a lot of you on this call, I don't strive to do 50 deals a year. I do uh, up to 10, maybe 15 today, but they're all, in terms of commission, they're all $100,000 plus. And so I agree with you. And Peggy, if you don't have a calendar and if you don't have three things you want to accomplish every day, then you're the fool. Enough said.
Uh, thank you. Some of the other things I'm going to share with you guys quickly are Leo Robles. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. He talked about you have to dominate your Google business profile. Huge. Get reviews, get reviews, get reviews. Consistently, visibility equals credibility. So if you don't have your Google business page up, get that going. And he said also go on daily property tours. You've got to be the expert. You know, if you don't know the area, how can you be an expert? And while you're on those tours, ask them if you can fill them. Get good content. Get out there, become the local expert because authority creates attraction there. Um, Another thing, community over campaigns. Leaders rising from within. Every single person, I say this to you guys every week on this call, is that you're leaders. And do weekly lunch and learns, skill building, listing scripts, mindset education, so many topics. This is not a lunch and learn about EXP. This is a lunch and learn that you're going to host with other people, and you are going to show agents how you can make them better agents. So many people got up there and talked about that they never even talk about EXP when they go out there. Do social outings, create the events, and then internal mentorship. Start being a mentor, start giving back. So, those are ways to grow in your community. And again, everyone said the same thing, don't build it yourself, build it together. I see Watson's there. I got to meet Watson. Good morning. Let's unmute yourself.
Good morning, Peggy. What a great time we had on Cabo.
Didn't we? Yeah.
Where do I even begin, right?
Well, you got a couple of minutes, so
I have been wanting to get this book. Finally, I got a couple of them to bring home with me. You know, you hear about in the sports world, just legend, or in the politics. I never heard. We hear about, superstar, Hall of Fame, I don't know, Centurion Award, but nothing like legend. A legend, somebody you can follow, somebody that you can really emulate life with. So good to be with Peggy and with Gene and with Brent. My God, the way we celebrate Brent, he was like larger than life. It was just a life transforming moment, and so good to see the family together. Earlier, someone was saying about the prayer meeting. I mean, the devotion in the morning. People were praying. Brent tell people, "Come on, step up, accept Jesus into your life, and make a total change, ready for the big wave." We are just so excited to be able to be there. I just felt like our life is changed, it's transformed because of that. Just a few days together. Thank you so much, everybody, and thanks, Peggy, for making this thing so much more fun for the group and for all of us.
Well, it was great to have you there, Watson, and to see you in person. So, if you guys don't know, it was also Brent's 60th birthday, and everyone came together to celebrate Brent, rightfully so. Um, is there anybody on this call who doesn't know who Brent Gove is, by the way? And that's okay if you don't. Um, okay, we got to get you to know about Brent Gove. So, Brent Gove is a force just like Gene Frederick. You get Gene Frederick and Brent Gove in the room, it is a fire. It's a fire right there. They had a vision to do a mastermind, not a company based, not a convention. Their vision was to do a mastermind to bring agents together. And I just want you guys to think about this. Where else can you go where agents write, an agent will write a multi-million dollar check out of his own pocket, put a deposit down, and say, oh, by the way, I have Tony Robbins showing up. And he's going to be this, we're going to be the first event he speaks at after COVID. This is what people do. I'm not asking you to do that, but that's what some of our leaders who have created all this wealth, they give it back. They don't make money on these events. They're here to pour into you. And I love when they said, I remember Brent Gove going around the country. I saw him in California. When he first started, we were in a community center with, I think, Subway sandwiches and bags of chips, and Brent told everyone at the end of the lunch and learn, he said, I'm never going to do it away again this way. He said, you're never getting lunch first. He said, all I hear up here when I'm trying to talk are people crunching on chips and bags and Subway sandwiches. We've gone from that to Cabo. You may not get a Cabo event, but you can create something that the people in your community are going to want to keep coming back to. We get passports, we get on planes, we get on everything we have to do, we get on cruise ships. We all travel together because we know how much we're going to get out of it. And if you take away anything, is what Eva said. Start your own. Start your own table, start your own room, start sharing. I know that any one of us will jump on a Zoom call with you, will help train with you, will do whatever it is that you need to have done to help your business get together and to be better. Yes, co-sponsorship is amazing, but if you're already at EXP, well, we can't co-sponsor, but that's okay. This isn't about co-sponsoring. This is about giving back and helping. This is about being there for the next generation to grow in real estate. It's changing quickly. And I don't know, I get very emotional at these events. I've been in real estate a long time. I've been to so many of them. But again, I've never been where people actually, Sarah's posting a lot of links in the chat box for us. People are actually giving you their time and money that they've already invested, they're sharing it with you because we want every single person here to grow. Watson, are you growing?
I grow.
You grow. Watson, how much business do you do? Just tell us a little bit about your production.
My production actually past 2 years has been slow. Last year I got picked up. We do bigger property. Um, I'm kind of guilty. You caught me on the spot. I didn't have my figure
Well,
with me.
you're a top agent. I mean, it's. I
Yeah,
just want people to realize the talent. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but I want people to understand. You got people like Redding that's been there for 50 years in real estate, still disciplined, still showing up on these calls, still willing to help. You've got Watson, who's a top producer. You're talking about Misty, you're talking about all these people who are here for you. If you can't make it to one of these events, because yes, they are financial, keep making it to our Zooms. Keep showing up. Your opinion matters. Your questions are never, silly questions. We want you to ask questions. So I'm going to say thank you guys. It's the top of the hour here. We'll be pouring into as other people go through their notes and stuff. But again, thanks a lot. I will see you. It was amazing. Everybody have a great week. Bye,
thank
Dee
you.
Dee. Love you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Peggy.
You
Everyone.
guys. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Mhm.
Love you too, Peggy.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.